According to the New Delhi Times, India was in a snit about the worldview that they could not eradicate the plague. This was not 1880s. This was 1994, and my friend Chris and I were backpacking around India and Nepal. And India had what they preferred to call the phlegmatic or the pneumonic plague, but it was really the bubonic plague. And we hadn't heard about this. We were riding in a train in Rajasthan, and some people we kind of picked up and traveled with, some Brits, were reading the New Delhi Times, and there were some rules of the plague. Rule number 1, don't pick up rats. That seems straightforward enough. But really, in India, there were rats everywhere. There were rats on tracks, there were rats in the trains, there were rats in the little hovels that we bickered over whether we were going to spend more than $2 a night for. There were rats in the restaurants, and some were dead and some were alive. And there was even a rat temple that people made pilgrimages out to in Bikaner so that you could stand barefoot and allow the rats to run through your feet. Sadly, my Imodium did not kick in enough that day for me to make that trip. Rule number 2, rats have fleas, and fleas spread the plague. We all scratched our flea-bitten legs as he read that and thought, fleas? We thought that was the insect of least trouble. I mean, we were all on malaria meds for the mosquitoes, and we weren't allowed to kill any. If we were at Jain temples, at least we kill any living beings. And there were bed bugs that Chris had gotten the first night when we were traveling, and then there were the tarantulas. Our last night, big, bouncing albino tarantula. But fleas? So now we had to be scared of fleas. So I don't really want you to get the idea that I disliked India. I mean, India was the most exotic place I've probably ever been to, and it was an eye feast. I mean, it was a cacophony of music, all of sound and music and beeping horns and rickshaw drivers slamming their rickshaws into buses, trying to get you to get off the bus and get in their rickshaw. It was just a very complex place filled with contrasts. And you would take a train and you'd see these unending vistas of fields dotted with working camels and these beautiful, vibrant Rajasthani saris. It was gorgeous. It was confusing. It was overwhelming. It was sensory overload. And I thought, I don't know how I'm going to leave India. By the time we got to Varanasi, our last city in India, we thought, we don't know how we're going to leave India. The plague had gotten really bad. It was so bad that they had closed down all the movie theaters of the Bollywood films in New Delhi. They had closed all the schools, and we had heard that there were medical checks at all the borders. And in fact, Germany, it was reported, was quarantining passengers and had some fumigation process or something. And we had overstayed a week because of so many days we'd lost to dysentery that we couldn't travel. So the first day we tried to get a ticket, we couldn't get one, and the second day we got one with the strict instructions, be there by 4 a.m. or we'll resell your seat. And so the bus to Nepal was not completely filled with other backpackers, but the ones that were on it were all coughing, and then instead of just talking about their GI distress and IV rehydration, they were worried about their fevers, and we were passing meds so that we'd pass the medical checks. And meanwhile, people getting in and off and coughing on us, and it heightened our worrying. And we get to the border, and they tell us all get off, walk across the bridge, and we're looking for the Red Cross vehicles, and there are none. And we're looking for the nurses, and there are none. And we pass our passport to the guy behind the glass window, and he takes it and blindly stamps it and hands it to the 20 hands, never checking to see if we are healthy or we are sick or we are even the person that owns that passport. And we say, "Whew, sure hope Nepal tightens up on their medical checks while we're here." Now, I never thought I could leave India, and I don't want to make it sound like I didn't like it. I loved it. And so I hope that I can go back in safer times. Thank you.